Hi again, everybody. My name is Greg Anderson, and this is the Good Timekeeping Show with Greg Anderson. And this is my dad's old watch. I found this the other day. I thought it was long gone. I had no idea where it ended up. And the other day I was working in the garage. I was looking for other things that had been misplaced long ago. And at the bottom of a box was this watch. Now, this is the watch that has inspired me to get other watches with white faces, because this is the first watch I remember that was my dad's watch. And this is the actual watch. He worked with the FAA, and we lived in Hawaii, and he often had assignments overseas, Japan and other places along the Pacific coast on that other side of the Pacific. And so on one of those occasions, he got this watch. Now, this was originally introduced, I believe, in 1964, the Seiko Crown Chronograph, and it originally had a bezel around here, a rotating bezel, just black with some numbers on it. I can find a picture online. This is what it's supposed to look like when it's in mint condition. And of course, the one I'm holding right now is far, far from mint condition. But it's the real deal. A survivor, a beater watch when, there was no concept of beater watch, really. I mean, my dad had one watch, and that's what he wore. No matter what he was doing, working on cars or yard work or building an addition to the house, whatever, this is what he wore. And so eventually, after he had the watch for about 10 years or so, the bezel broke and then just came off. Then he just wore it without the bezel. And eventually, I guess the watch band or bracelet broke and was replaced by this authentic 1970s Twistoflex watch band. Okay. And overall, it makes it look like it not as fancy of a watch as it used to be, with this weird little Twistoflex watch band. And no bezel, and just looks like it's been through the ringer. Now, I can just barely make out some of the markings on the back here. Okay, read along with me now if you can see that. It looks like it says right there, Crown, right there, waterproof 30. There's a 30 there. And then, what does that say? Looks like SS, or maybe that means stainless steel, and then a multi-digit number right there. What is that? 45899, and then kind of that stamp serial number. And you can sort of see the Seiko with what looks like an Olympic torch. So there you go. It's very much rubbed down. You can see it's just dirty and old and has been long forgotten. But I wound it up. It's not a self-winding watch or an automatic watch, but I wound it up and it's running. The thing I remember most about this watch is, I'd be sitting in church and I'd, instead of being bored, I'd say, "Hey, Dad, can I play with your watch?" So he'd take the watch off and hand it to me. And this button up here, this affects the second hand. So when it says chronograph, here's what you do. You push it, and then the second hand will stop. Push it again, and the second hand just pops right back up, pointing to the 12 o'clock position. Push it a third time, and then it starts again. So, and look at that. Let's say something shock 21 joules. Okay. So there it is. And it's pretty hammered, but it's the real deal. I don't know if I should make the effort to try and shine it up or do any kind of restoration or just kind of leave it as is. I don't want to mess it up. And I'm certainly not an expert on how to do restorations on a watch such as this. If I tap the crystal, it feels like plastic. And so what I'm wondering is, could I take a tube of polywash, and a little piece of cotton, and could I shine that up just a little bit and make it easier to see the face, just kind of buff out some of those scratches? It looks like it's got a very definite crack right there, so I'm not going to be able to fix that. But can I make it look a little bit nicer? And then I'll have to decide. This if it were in mint condition, I've seen them on eBay and whatever, and if I believe what I'm seeing on the internet, I could get more than $3,000 for something like this. I'm not going to sell this one. I'm not going to sell any of my watches. But I thought this was gone forever, and I found it. So let's put some polywash on here and see how it goes. All right, first attempt. I think it's improved it a bit. What do you think? It's very rough, obviously, but the real deal. Survivor watch. I think I could get a new bezel for it and pop that on there. I could probably get a new crystal for it. But I don't know. Like I said, I don't want to start opening it up and maybe causing more trouble than I'm solving, because it is what it is. The Twisto Flex watch band bracelet, obviously, this is what happens when you don't have a matching bracelet that the end piece has a curve on it to match the original curve on the case. I think you can still get watch bands like this, and I think Timex has some inexpensive watches with the Twisto Flex style watch band. I just remember, let's see how close I come to my dad's wrist size. It's a little tight on me. You can see how it stretches right there. So maybe what I can do, and see, they would advertise it like this, the comfortable watch band, easy on, easy off. I suppose it might have a tendency to pull the hairs if you got hair, down here like I do. Maybe, I suppose, I could find a bracelet that is a kind of a close match to the original bracelet that was on here before. I think the general name for that style is rice bead bracelet. So maybe I could find one. I don't think I'm going to find the real deal original, for a full restoration, but I could certainly make this work. And you know what? I wound it up, let it run for the day when I found it, and then I wound it up again just now, and it's keeping good time. It's actually keeping very good time. I don't know about the second hand because I was playing with it, but the hour and minute hand working exceptionally well. So the long lost watch has returned, or it was always in the garage for years anyway, and I just didn't realize it. I've already purchased a few watches that I considered to be, the purchase was inspired by my memories of this watch right here when it was in its glory, my dad's watch. So that's my soft spot for these white-faced watches. And in a sense, this one might be a closer match. Of course, Seiko has also released a Presage chronograph tribute watch that is supposed to remind us of this one here. But it's significantly different. It's it's more modern and what have you, but it has a lot of the same features. So you could get and it's kind of expensive. So I'm not rushing out to get the new Seiko tribute watch that's a tribute to this one. And I just found this original anyway. So let's see. I'll put it in my watch collection. I'll try and clean it up a little bit more, and maybe I'll get that new watch bracelet and actually wear it now and then, just because it works after all these years. All right, I just wanted to give you an update here because I've mentioned this watch before, and now I found it. So there you go. And I've got some other watches I want to talk about and other things that have to do with timekeeping. So I hope you will join me again soon for another episode of the Good Timekeeping Show.